all small businesses, I suppose, are struggling, but pubs especially. Since COVID, really, I remember being here like COVID and going, oh, this is gonna mess it right up. And it never did really recovered since then, like I guess my generation and maybe older, they never really came back. So yeah, it's just a shame because it's so integral to the community. The pub has always been the center of the community, one at the center of the community, really, where people meet and have the crack and, dance and sing and chat and connect. And what did I read there? Since 2005, something like 2,100 and something pubs have closed in Ireland. It's a lot. So they're averaging, they reckon, 130 pubs a year, which is a lot of pubs. Like, with all the costs of everything going up and up and up, it's really, really hard to keep it going. And I think it will be such a shame, they'll all be gone. They'll all be gone sooner than we think. I just think history is so important. And the history of this place, the fact that where we're sitting, I remember this was full of horses. The last blacksmith in Bantry, in 1706, there was 6 blacksmiths in Bantry, And like keeping that, when tourists come in and they're like, and you tell them the history of it, like, the fridge inside is 81 years old, General Motors still works. That kind of stuff is like, you can't buy that. When tourists come in, they're like, oh my God, this is what that's trying to be an American accent, it wasn't very good. They're trying to, they're like, we've been searching for this and and then they see a bit of trad music or something and they're like, this is what we thought Ireland is like, but it's the real old ones. I mean, a lot of them are family owned, and I suppose, and yeah, they're closing down, and it'll be really sad because our history is so important, Electricity is huge, insurance has gone through the roof, like the cost of wages, which, I mean, people need to have higher wages because of course their rent and the cost of living is really high. Across the board, rates, everything has just gone up and up and up, And then people like I said, aren't going out because they can't get home, which is crazy. Like, I think someone said to me, I don't know if it's true, but like that, in Dublin, there's like loads of people who have taxi license. But outside of Dublin, it's quite hard in the rural areas to get a taxi license. I don't know why that is, but
would you be a proponent of something like outside of the urban centers that we relax the things on like Ubers, or people can like do that ride sharing stuff, make a bit of income?
100%. Like an Uber around here would be brilliant. And like there's loads of young people who need something to do. That would be an amazing way for them. And they could probably charge whatever they want because people, do want to go out. But like when you're living somewhere rural like here, and there's no infrastructure, there's no buses after a certain time, you need stuff like that for people to be able to come out,
Do you have like a plea to the ministers?
Yeah, I suppose try and support like small businesses and small pubs. I mean, it's like, if they don't, they'll be gone. And like the pub is a big part of our attraction, isn't it? Like tourists like to come to Ireland because they know like the Irish pub is famous worldwide. So like maybe giving in some supports or, with electricity or, stuff like that, or like the government could just like try and ease the excess duty on it. I mean, it's ridiculous, the price of drink, but like a lot of that goes straight to the government. Maybe to make it easier for taxis to, set up, or Ubers, so people can get home, and making it aware that, okay, they're on the health buzz of like people not drinking, and I get that, but a campaign of the pub it has to change. It doesn't have to be about going to get drunk or drinking. It can be about going and having a sparkling water or a cappuccino or a pizza or some food, but it's a place where people can meet and have connection, because a lot of small towns, like, really rural places like that's all there is. There's no post office now because the post office is gone. There's no little grocery shop. The grocery shop's gone, and there might be the pub. So like if you're living alone, which a lot of people are, that's the place to go and have a chat. So many, you can see it, can't you, when you're driving through Ireland, like so many little small towns don't have a heart in it anymore. And I'm like, that's so sad. Like that's, that's what Irish people have, big heart. Like we gotta keep that going, and getting people to come into the town. And then of course the music and dancing. I mean, that's been such part of our culture for like thousands of years, isn't it? It's like that's what, in community, people coming together and like Irish music. I grew up inside of the pub, and the trad sessions were just amazing, and they'd be like three different generations playing trad together, and I suppose the pub was always that kind of a place where that tradition got passed down, whether it was storytelling or music or dancing. But I think now everyone's got so serious. People are struggling. There is definitely people. There's a lot going on in the world, isn't there? But I think that just coming together and having a dance or a sing song is so vitally important right now, more than ever. My dad's saying was, when you come here, you get to Mount Murphy's, you get happiness, leisure, and pleasure. And I think since 2020, we forgot a lot about that, and having a night out. It doesn't have to be getting drunk. It's just having a bit of crack. You feel much better after it. Connection is we need to. We're social beings, aren't we? Like historically too, our country is so creative with music and dancing. And now, like, what I love here is sometimes you see like 3 generations. So we've been here since '81. Like, I know these people for like 45 years, and now, they're coming in with their grandkids and the kids, and you're just like, and having a little dance. Like that is so special to have a place where all generations can meet, I remember on Sunday I was telling, after Mass, like the older lads would be showing the younger lads the tunes, you know what I mean? And so that would be passed down then. So we wouldn't lose that, because it's such we've got such a rich culture and tradition of that. It'd be a shame for it to go, And I suppose that the pub is the hub of that, where people can come and share their tunes and their songs and just have a bit of fun, because it's all got very serious. Life has got very serious. It's very short-sighted of the government, to with all these rising costs of everything. Like things are going to close, so how are they won't be able to get their income then from the pub. All the tax and all the VAT and all the things that you pay through the years, and also tourism. It'll be and they will close. Like it's not sustainable the way it is. I guess we've had to try and change with the times. Yeah, now we're doing food, so that trying to bring more people in, because I think people want to eat, don't they, when they're drinking, and trying to have more like different groups, like gardening groups. We had pop-up shops here during the last year or so, just trying to think outside the box, because I suppose, yeah, I said people's habits have changed. Like in Bantry, it's really hard to get taxis home.
The population is growing, but the pubs are decreasing. In a working society, you'd expect those to be increasing in line with the population in some way, but the opposite is true.
The opposite is true. Yeah. I think people just got very, very comfortable at home, and it's a big thing for people to come out now, and the government have just made it too expensive for people to come out. Support your local pub, and just be aware that they are really, really struggling, and the people who are running them are just about holding on, and I don't know how much longer they will be able to hold on unless the government, it helps us, basically.
The government is obsessed with data centers, and they got this big report being like, data centers add so much to the economy, we have to have data centers. If you exclude the construction, pubs add more to the Irish economy every year in terms of gross economic value than data centers do.
You would think, because like Irish people come, but then like the tourists, that's the thing, one of the big things that they come to Ireland for, isn't it? Like they hear about the music and the crack in the pub, and when they come in here, they're blown away. Like they've never seen anything like it. They're seeing things on the wall that are 200 years old. Like
there's something deeply wrong anyway to say that like all of these services are closing down, all these pubs are closing down, and it seems to be a case of you put the frog in the cold water and you heat it up slowly. I feel like we're in the simmering stage of this, and nobody's aware that we're about to be boiled.
Yeah, well said. That's it. And I feel that really strongly that that's what's going to happen. because they'll be closed because you're like, I mean, we're hanging on here. I mean, you know, our family have been here for 45 years. Not an easy life, you know, not an easy, it's tough, but like I'm hanging on because I think it's so important to have a space. And if all those spaces are gone, people will be like, oh shit, I wish I'd known that. I'd known that beforehand.